Ladies, you don't need to ask how he feels about you. His greeting already told you. The way his face changes when he sees you, that second of unfiltered emotion, that's the truth. He can fake his words, but he can't fake that spark in his eyes or the way his energy shifts. If he lights up when you walk in, it's not an accident. It's a feeling he can't hide, even if he tries. Watch that moment closely, because that's where his real feelings live. The way someone greets you speaks volumes, often louder than words ever could. It's in those first few seconds, the look in their eyes, the shift in their voice, the way their body turns toward you, that real emotion slips out. We often overlook the greeting because it feels routine, but it's actually a moment of raw truth. When someone truly feels something for you, they can't help but light up. It's not about big declarations or romantic cliches, it's about the spark that appears the second you walk into a room. The human mind can filter and suppress, but the body reacts before the brain can edit. You'll see their pupils widen, their voice soften or rise with excitement, their posture adjust as if to close the gap between you. If they're trying to hide feelings, the greeting becomes the moment where the mask slips. It's instinctual, a pure expression of how someone actually feels inside. And once you learn to observe that, you'll start catching signals you once ignored. People often ask whether someone has feelings for them, hoping for a verbal confirmation or a bold romantic move. But often the answer is already in plain sight. It's just not where they're looking. Words can be calculated, compliments can be rehearsed. But the spontaneous response of a greeting, that's hard to fake. You can hear warmth in someone's tone even if they say nothing particularly special. You can feel the difference between someone who says hi with distracted politeness and someone who says it with that subtle glow in their expression. Emotional attraction is energy, and you can feel it when someone's happy just to be in your presence. There's no performance in those brief seconds. It's raw, unscripted, and real. Pay close attention. You don't need to overanalyze their every text message or plan grand tests of loyalty. Just watch how they act the moment you arrive. It's easy to miss these signs when you're caught up in your own nerves or self-doubt. You might walk into a room preoccupied with how you look, whether you're saying the right thing or whether you're being too much or not enough. But if you can pause just for a second and notice how they receive you, you'll get your answer. People don't light up for just anyone. There's a noticeable difference in how we react to someone we care about versus someone we feel neutral toward. Their entire energy shifts. It's not always dramatic, it can be subtle, but it's there. Their face softens, their smile comes faster, and there's a readiness to engage that wasn't there before. It doesn't require a hug or an enthusiastic shout. Sometimes it's just in how their body leans forward, how their voice seems to suddenly have more life. The truth is you'll feel it more than you see it, and that feeling rarely lies. A genuine greeting comes from presence, from being fully in that moment with you. If someone really cares, you'll notice they're not half scrolling on their phone when you show up. They're not distracted, barely acknowledging your arrival. Instead, their attention is on you like it naturally found its center. Even if they were busy a second ago, their energy shifts. That's emotional investment. It's not about perfect behavior, but about emotional alignment. People who are indifferent don't shift their focus for you. They don't lean in, don't mire. Roar your smile and don't light up in your presence. So when someone does, consistently, that's your clue. They might not have said anything yet, but their body already did. And if you're honest with yourself, you've probably already noticed it. It's just that sometimes we talk ourselves out of trusting our intuition. Feelings are slippery things. Some people try to bury them out of fear of vulnerability, rejection, or not being ready. But the body doesn't always cooperate with the plan to hide. That greeting, that reaction they have to seeing you, is when their feelings accidentally leak out. They might play it cool 5 minutes later, even shift back into a neutral tone, but that moment of greeting gives them away, because in that moment, they're not performing. They haven't had time to compose themselves. Their subconscious reacts faster than they can control. It's in their smile, in the hesitation before they speak, in the way their face lingers just a little longer on yours. It's fascinating how often we miss this, or worse, how often we notice it and convince ourselves it meant nothing. But it does mean something. People don't react that way without emotion behind it. What's beautiful is that you don't need to do anything special to earn this kind of response. It's not about being charming or impressive. It's about being you. If someone feels that way about you, their greeting reveals it, regardless of how your hair looks that day or what mood you're in. That's how you know it's real. Because it's not based on external performance, it's based on connection. And connection doesn't need a perfect moment. It thrives in the imperfect, everyday interactions. That look of happiness when they first see you, it tells you that your presence alone is enough. And there's nothing more attractive, more validating, or more honest than that. It's a sign you've impacted them emotionally, even if they haven't said the words out loud. So don't brush it off. Let it inform how you move forward. Of course, this doesn't mean every warm greeting equals romantic interest, but when combined with consistency, when that moment happens every time and you feel something shift in them again and again, it's more than friendliness. Patterns reveal the truth. Someone who always brightens when they see you, no matter the setting or circumstance, is revealing a pattern of emotional significance. It means you're not just someone they're obligated to acknowledge. You're someone who matters. That type of energy builds emotional gravity, the kind that slowly deepens into something lasting. It may not always lead to a confession right away, but it's the foundation. And that foundation matters far more than surface charm or clever words. The greeting is where real connection begins. So many people waste time guessing how someone feels, chasing after clarity through overthinking and over-questioning. But the answer has usually already been offered in 100 small ways. In the way they turn toward you, how their voice sounds when they say your name, or the speed at which they stop what they're doing when you appear. These are not accidents. They're emotional markers. The more you observe them without attachment, the clearer the truth becomes. You don't have to control the situation or fish for compliments. The signs are always there if you're willing to see them. And once you do, you begin to move through relationships with a quiet confidence because you've stopped seeking permission to trust what you already feel. There's a kind of peace that comes with recognizing genuine emotion in someone's presence, not in what they say, but in how they show up for you. When the greeting is soft, open, and instinctively joyful, it confirms something real. That kind of honesty is rare in a world full of masks and pretenses, and yet it's also incredibly simple. It's a smile, a shift in tone, a look that holds you just a second too long. These are the places where true affection hides. The best part is you don't have to search for it, you just have to pay attention. Let go of the need to be told and learn to listen with your eyes. The moment someone greets you like that, yet with light in their eyes and warmth in their voice, they've already told you everything you need to know. We often look for love in big gestures, flowers, surprise dates, dramatic confessions. But the truth of someone's feelings usually lives in the smallest, most ordinary moments. One of those moments is how someone greets you. Not once or twice, but consistently. That first few seconds when they see you tells you whether you live in their mind, whether your presence shifts something in them. You don't need fireworks or poetic speeches. Watch how they behave in the unscripted seconds. Does their expression change when you walk in? Do they pause what they're doing, even briefly? People who truly feel something tend to treat your arrival like an emotional moment, not a passing one. The details here are small, but they're not meaningless. When someone cares, they don't just greet you out of politeness. Their words carry weight, and their tone carries emotion. You feel the warmth, the effort, the genuine attention in their voice. It's not about what they say, it's about how they say it. A simple hey can feel like a hug, or it can feel like a wall, depending on the emotion behind it. That difference isn't accidental. It's emotional intent showing itself. People don't pour warmth into things they don't care about. That greeting is a test of presence. Were they waiting for you even subconsciously? Were you on their mind? Or did you just blend into the background of their day? In day-to-day life, people get good at hiding how they feel. They play it cool, they stay reserved. But that moment when someone sees you before they've had time to compose themselves, it's raw. That's when their emotional truth escapes. No matter how subtle it is, you can feel a difference when someone's heart leans forward, their guard drops even for a second. You'll notice the speed at which they turn toward you, or how they stop mid-sentence with someone else just to acknowledge you. These aren't planned moves, they're spontaneous reactions, and they're revealing. You don't have to interrogate someone to know if they care. You just have to watch how they behave in those unguarded seconds. Think about the people you genuinely care for. You greet them differently than you do acquaintances. There's a lightness in your step, maybe a softness in your voice, even if you're tired or distracted. It's not about trying to impress, it's about connection. That's what happens when someone truly sees you as emotionally significant. They may not even realize they're doing it, but you do. Because the way they speak to you, the tone, the attention, the small, almost invisible changes in their behavior makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like you matter, and not just in words, but in energy. That kind of connection can't be manufactured. You'll find that someone who is emotionally invested doesn't treat your presence like background noise. Even if the greeting is casual, the energy will tell a different story. They may not always say something profound, but they'll look at you longer, they'll smile in a way that lingers, and their body language will feel open. These micro-expressions are clues. They speak louder than compliments or rehearsed lines. People don't open themselves up like that to everyone, and when they do it consistently, it's a signal that you've affected them in a way they can't ignore. That's where real feelings live, not in the performances, but in the patterns. Emotional truth hides in repetition. If you want to know how someone feels, don't just pay attention once. Watch how they behave every time they see you. Do they always look up, and you walk in? Do they always seem just a little happier, more alive, more attentive in your presence? That's your answer. A one-time warm greeting could be manners. A repeated pattern is emotion. This kind of subtle consistency speaks volumes. Over time, it creates a sense of emotional safety, not because of what they say, but because of how they show up. Their feelings for you don't come out in big events. They reveal themselves in how their everyday responses change when you're around. You don't need to chase validation when someone truly cares. Their actions, even the smallest ones, provide constant reassurance. That greeting, whether it's a quick smile, an enthusiastic wave, or even a shy glance, becomes a window into how they feel. You stop wondering because the answer starts to feel obvious. And not because they declared anything, but because they keep showing up in emotionally consistent ways. That's the kind of connection that builds something lasting, something built not on performance, but on genuine human reaction. You become someone they're emotionally anchored to, and that anchor shows itself every time you appear in their day. Sometimes people try to suppress their feelings, either because of timing, fear, or confusion. But even then, the greeting gives them away. The human body can't always cooperate with the mind's plan to hide. Their words might stay neutral, but their eyes will soften, or their smile will appear before they can stop it. And they know it. You might catch them composing themselves afterward, suddenly straightening up, adjusting their tone. But by then, it's too late. You already saw the truth. That flash of warmth wasn't polite, it was personal. And it's in those flashes, those brief, unfiltered moments, that their feelings speak the loudest. Most people look for clarity in conversations, hoping for direct statements, clear intentions, or grand confessions. But those things don't always come. Sometimes people struggle to find the right words or the right moment. But you don't need to wait for that. You already have something more honest. That greeting, that reaction they have when you show up is the real answer. It's unrehearsed and emotional, not logical. People will eventually say what they feel, but long before that they show it. And it's not hidden in mystery, it's right there in plain sight if you're willing to slow down and notice it. There's peace in knowing you don't have to force anything. You don't need to dig or manipulate or overanalyze. All you have to do is observe. Watch how someone greets you, especially when they don't know you're watching. If there's warmth, presence, and a kind of light in their face that wasn't there before, trust that. It's real. It might not be love yet, but it's emotional truth. It's the beginning of something. And it's honest in a way that words often fail to be. Sometimes the most meaningful signs are the smallest. That first glance, that spontaneous smile, that unmistakable shift in energy when you walk in. Those are the moments where real feelings live. When someone has strong feelings for you, their body often betrays them before their words do. No matter how much they try to stay composed, their natural reaction when they see you gives them away. They might try to act indifferent, but real emotions are hard to hide in moments of surprise. A person who truly feels something can't always control the way their eyes light up or how their voice changes when you appear. That first second of seeing you catches them off guard, and in that moment their feelings slip through. Even if they try to mask it right after, you've already seen the truth. You can't fake that quick breath, that instinctive smile, or that shift in posture. People who are indifferent don't struggle to stay neutral. They simply are. But someone who feels more is always on the edge of revealing it. It's fascinating how people work so hard to appear calm and in control, especially when they're hiding how much they care. It's about the quietest signs repeated sincerely over time. Presence, care, and thoughtfulness. That's where real feeling lives. You don't have to chase clarity when someone's consistent with their behavior, when they light up every time they see you, when they lean in without hesitation, when their energy shifts in your presence. That's all you need to know. Emotional honesty often shows up before verbal honesty does. People are far more transparent than they realize, especially in their everyday patterns. They might not even be aware of how obvious they are. You'll see it in their eyes, hear it in their laugh, feel it in the way they gravitate toward you. These signals are there for those who choose to pay attention. You don't need to decode every word when the emotion is already clear in action. You just need to trust that you already know more than you think you do. When someone's feelings are genuine, they won't treat your presence like a task or an interruption. There will be a subtle reverence in how they acknowledge you, a respect for your time, a softness in how they engage. You'll notice how their mood lifts when you arrive, or how they become more focused, more present, even in casual settings. These moments are easy to overlook, especially if you're waiting for something more obvious. But this is where the truth lives. You'll see it when they go out of their way for no reason, when they pause their own rhythm to meet you where you are. That's not friendship out of obligation or politeness, that's emotional investment. And when you notice it, really notice it, you begin to feel grounded in that truth. There's a certain power in not needing words to feel secure. When you observe someone closely and they show up with warmth, consistency, and quiet effort, you start to trust your own instincts. You stop looking for reassurance in the wrong places. Instead, of second-guessing everything, you begin to rely on what's been proven through repeated subtle gestures. This isn't guessing. It's recognizing a pattern. A person who cares won't always say the perfect thing, but they will behave in a way that makes you feel safe, valued, and seen. That safety doesn't come from titles or declarations. It comes from the way they make space for you in their world. Over time, that kind of attention becomes louder than any romantic phrase ever could. You may be tempted to doubt what you see, especially if you've been hurt before. But trust isn't about blind optimism. It's about learning to observe clearly. You're not imagining things when someone continuously treats you with care. You're not reading too much into it when they remember the little things or when their face lights up at the sight of you. That's not fantasy, it's recognition. You're witnessing something real, even if they haven't put it into words yet. Trusting what you see is a sign of strength, not naivety. It means you've stepped out of the noise and started paying attention to what actually matters. It's easy to miss when you're caught in fear, but it becomes obvious when you move from anxiety to awareness. There's wisdom in being the observer instead of the interrogator. When you stop pushing for answers and simply allow yourself to see, really see, the way someone interacts with you, the pressure fades. You begin to realize that love doesn't always need to be spoken to be understood. It's there in the small pauses, the lingering glances, the way they notice what you need before you do. This kind of love is quiet but undeniable. You can feel its weight without hearing a single word. And that's where so many people go wrong. They wait for the words and miss the story already unfolding in front of them. Being present allows you to receive the truth without forcing it. People rarely hide their feelings as well as they think they do. Emotion has a way of rising through the cracks of logic, of slipping into the corners of a smile or the tone of a casual sentence. When someone sees you in a way that goes beyond the surface, it will show. It won't always be obvious, but it will be present. The key is to stop talking long enough to notice. Stop needing proof and start recognizing the proof that already exists. Love, interest, care, these aren't always packaged in declarations. They often come wrapped in routine moments, repeated gestures, and quiet attentiveness. And once you learn to notice them, you stop needing confirmation. You already have it. If someone truly values you, their presence will tell you everything you need to know. They will prioritize connection, even if they don't always articulate it. They'll find ways to be near you, to support you, to show up in your life without making it a spectacle. These aren't coincidences. This is what it looks like when someone allows their feelings to guide their behavior. They don't need to spell it out because their actions are already forming the sentence. And it's a sentence that reads, "You matter to me." Even if they're not ready to say it, they've already shown it, not once, but consistently. That consistency is your answer. When you stop demanding emotional clarity and start witnessing it, everything changes. You realize that you've been seeking something that's already unfolding. That greeting that feels a little too genuine, that moment of eye contact that lingers longer than necessary, those aren't empty moments. They're filled with meaning, intention, and feeling. And the most freeing part is that you don't have to do anything to earn them. You don't have to dig or push or demand. All you have to do is be present. Let their behavior reveal the truth and trust yourself enough to see it for what it is. Because in the end, clarity doesn't always arrive through words. It often shows up quietly, in the way someone simply shows up for you.